If you're an artist and you're very serious about your music, then watch this video because I'm about to share with you 10 DIY home recording tips that will help you get better recording. Tip number 1 is communication. Communicate properly with your producer, with your engineer that is going to mix and master the song for you. Understand what your producer or your engineer needs for the record. It will help you avoid a lot of mistakes in your recording and help you deliver exactly what the producer or engineer needs to be able to do a better job for you. You want to know the project sample rate and the beat depth that the producer or the engineer needs from you. And you also want to know the right format and also the key and the tempo for the project. It helps if you are using the same digital audio workstation as your producer or engineer so that you both can have a more efficient workflow. So communicate properly with your producer or your engineer and be sure that you both are on the same page before your record. Next is make sure that you rehearse properly before recording because recording can become very technical. It can become very demanding and challenging. You don't want to be dealing with the technical aspect of the recording and then the performance aspect of the recording at the same time. You want to make sure that at least your performance is not a problem anymore so that you can focus on the recording and deal with the more technical aspect of the recording. And then number 3 is your room. A smaller space will do better for you in the recording than a larger space because smaller room will have less echo, less reverb by default than larger space. And controlling smaller spaces will be more easier for you than larger spaces. Larger room will have a lot of reflection and handling that reflection both in the recording and in the editing or mixing can be frustrating. So find a smaller room and in that smaller room there could be some echo. So dampen the room with duvet, blanket, towels, clothes, whatever you can get to kill the echo a little more. Then number 4 is the microphone and the audio interface. Record with a decent microphone and an audio interface. This is the sound quality that we are talking about. If you get a very poor sound quality, it might not show itself in the recording, but during mixing and mastering, the bad frequency responses will become significant. That's why in some cases you'll find out that after recording you have a good sound, but when mixing begins, everything begins to fall apart. Try your best to use the best microphone you can lay your hand on. This will save us a lot of stress in the mixing. Then next, make sure you set up your project properly before you start recording. Set the tempo right. Know the key of the project, know the sample rate and the beat depth of the project. These are some of the important things you want to make sure you set up before recording because changing these things after recording might degrade the quality of your audio. When you don't set your tempo right, setting it again after you are done recording might put some things out of place. In as much as I can do this, for some engineers, this can really be difficult for them to handle. So you don't want to give your engineer the stress of having to reset all your settings after you're done recording. It can have a detrimental effect on the audio itself. So make sure that you communicate with your producer so that he will give you all this information that you may need. Number 6, record at an optimal level. Make sure you have the waveform as high as possible without clipping. You want to make sure that it is sizable enough to be above the noise floor and not loud enough to clip. Mic distance. When you are recording your vocals, you want to make sure that you are, at this range. When you are recording at the same range I am in, which is about, let's say 1 feet away from your microphone. You want to make sure that you get no ambience at all if possible in the recording. And for your background vocal, you want to give the microphone some distance, maybe an arm length or 1 meter away from the microphone to have a little bit of the ambience in the sound. This can help push the background vocal behind the lead vocal even without mixing. Then next is editing. When you are done recording, you want to edit properly before you export the multi-tracks and send to your producer or your engineer. We don't expect you to do drastic edits, but at least don't consolidate or bounce your tracks in between syllables. Let each syllable end. Join when there is silence. If you have a word, let that word finish before you use another take. Don't join different takes in between the syllable and bounce it together. When you do those kind of things, it ruins all the hard work and effort. So if you don't know how to really properly edit your record, it is better you pay the engineer an extra fee to do these edits for you than for you to do it yourself and ruin your entire recording. Don't just record one takes, because in as much as you think that take is good enough, there could be some little performance issues or some little technical issues. Make sure that at least you have a take 2 that the producer can use to replace the main take in case. Then lastly, get some assistance from your producer or from your engineer or from a second person who can be there to coach you in your recording to make sure that your performance is good enough. Having a second person assist you in the recording can help you a lot. It can save you a lot of stress. Most times I connect with my artists through virtual means and see what they are doing in real time. Then I can tell them if the recording is good enough, if they have to do something else. And most times I also control the recording myself, no matter where they are in the world. So thanks, and that is it for now. For my fellow producers and engineers, if you also have more tips that will help our artists get better recording and save us the stress during production and mixing, please share with us in the comment section. And also for the artists, if you have some tips that helped you in your recording, also share with us in the comment section. Keep following Signature Vibes for more tips, and see you on the next one.